Another day, another interview, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm here with the man himself, the man of San Jose. If you want to introduce yourself and like what you do,
Danny,
just in general.
What I do, I book as RNRG presents with a couple of the homies, and I do vocals in Condition 1, and that's kind of it. I mean, I do other stuff, but I don't know if it's anything that you're too interested in.
I mean, I think I'm interested in it, but like, and I don't know. Maybe the people are too. I'm interested, and you know what? This interview is all about me, so because I'm the only one in the room right now.
You're asking the questions that you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
What other stuff are you into?
Shit. I drive a truck for work, so that's pretty cool and mundane. But it
is it like a forklift or something like that?
Pays the bills. I do drive forklifts, so I work for a warehouse for an electrical contractor in the union. I've been doing that since like high school.
Oh, Nick.
Which is rad. Took a few years off to do like framing and like residential construction.
Oh, okay.
And shit like that. But my spot with the electrical union's fucking awesome. It's stable. Working for a shop is cool. I drive like a truck for them. It's like a 30-foot long flatbed, and we got job sites all around the bay. So
sick.
My day's pretty much just loading shit. This is Josie, the dog.
Josie the dog, like the Blink-182 song.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a cool job. I deliver fucking equipment for big industrial commercial job sites and stuff all over the bay. And do
you deliver to Tesla?
We had work at Tesla.
Okay.
Why?
Because I used to, or I still do. I was staying at someone's house over the summer, and this guy was like the coordinator of all of like Tesla's like their like construction equipment that they use there. So like all the forklifts and stuff like that. He was the guy who was like the coordinator of
that's awesome.
Running all that stuff. So I don't know. I just popped into my head because I was like, oh, you deliver stuff to
it's crazy over
stuff
there, man.
Dude,
yeah,
he said it's like what he imagines like Elon Musk's mind to look like. It's just like
his
always
mind's fucked up then, because that place is like the Wild West, bro.
Yep, exactly. That's what he said, man.
Yeah. No, it was it's cool. Tesla's a crazy job site. It's crazy over there.
That's sick, man.
A lot of shit going on.
So I mean, I guess getting into like the music talks, like
yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody wants to hear about forklifts.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know.
I want to hear about forklifts. I'll talk about that all day. But
talk about forklifts and shit like that all day. I mean, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard that union stuff is like is actually pretty sick if you want to like. Not go to school and like do all that shit.
Hey, for any young people watching this, if you want to get breaded up hella young and just like I don't know, have a I mean it's a grind, but like if you want to make like a fucking good living, join a trade, whether it's like anything union, bro, like anything union in the trades, you'll be okay. Like you'll make enough money, you'll have good benefits. Trust me, you don't got to go to college to make good money and be okay in life.
And they're chill with you like taking time off for going on tour and stuff like that.
So,
I mean, yeah. Oh, really?
Well, okay. So, it depends. It depends if you're working on a job site or if you're working like at the shop, like in the warehouse. Mm-hmm. I work in the warehouse, which is a pretty permanent position. So I've been with that shop for like 2.5 years, and if it was a job site, it might be different because you're only going to be hired onto that job for,
a certain amount of time.
When the job site ends, everybody gets laid off the majority of the time.
Yeah, definitely.
You go back to the out of work list and you wait for the next job.
Okay, gotcha.
With me, or with shop calls, shop jobs, it's like, you're working for the warehouse. There's no job site that ends that you get laid off after.
Gotcha.
So you're like the guy.
There indefinitely.
Yeah. You're there as long as you're not fucking up or like causing problems.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I went on tour for like pretty much 6 months on and off.
This
year. Back in November, I gave him a 3 months heads up, and I was like, hey, honestly, I'm taking like half the year off. Just fucking lay me off.
Yep.
Just smoke me. I'll go back to the out of work list. It's whatever. and they were like, hey, we actually like, we're kind of down, but at the same time, we kind of want to keep you. So we'll let you go do your thing because you've been with us for a few years and you're solid and we get it. You're young and you have a life. Go do your thing. Come back when you're done. So that's not ordinary, but
You gotcha.
But they like me there, so I got to keep my job.
So do you work for like a union and then like the union sends you to this shop, or is the shop like part of the union? Like how is that? Because you said you would go back to the lists. So is the lists like with the union or something like that? Like I don't know how this works at all.
So when you're at least the way that my union works in my trade, and it's fairly same across the board with other trades. You work under the union, and the contractors hit up the union for workers. So the contractors, the companies, they have an agreement with the union that their employees, their workers, are union members.
Okay, gotcha.
And so for my jurisdiction, Local 332, they'll when they are starting a new job or when they're hiring new people or whatever it is, they contact the union. They say, hey, I need 3 of these people, 2 of these people, whatever. And then the next day the job calls roll out and you go in and to the union hall and you try to accept those. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
gotcha.
It's your union worker and the contractor hires from the union books.
Oh, I see.
And
so,
they have you have a contract with the union as a worker where your contractor has to abide by, X rules and pay you X amount because that's what your classification that's just how it works. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I could explain this further, but
forever. Yeah, totally. So like oh fuck, I was going to say something but then I forgot it, of course.
It's all good. Let's just talk about the music stuff, man.
Exactly.
I
well,
drew you
actually,
off when you brought up forklifts.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's chill. Like, this is why I like doing these, is because I like talking to people about just not. I mean, the music stuff's cool and stuff, but I don't know. I think the other tidbits are pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Like, I don't know what else are you gonna do. Like, you got some tattoos.
I like tattoos,
which are pretty fucking sick. I would think
tattoos are cool. They cost money and they hurt a lot.
When'd you start getting tatted?
When I was like, actually so 16 technically.
It's pretty young.
I got I love this story. I got my third nipple's name tattooed above my third nipple.
Is that like?
Yeah, I've had this little fucking dude for like ever.
Hell yeah.
It's just like a third nipple. It's totally normal.
What's the name?
Paco,
fuck yeah,
named
dude.
it in like elementary school. It was whatever. When I was like 16, this punk dude from San Jose, he moved to Portland, gotten like some fight, whatever, and because I think it's measure 11 or whatever it is, it's like you get like serious jail time for for fighting. So we had like a benefit show for him.
A long time ago.
Yeah, I was 16, so this is like nine years ago. One of the homies was doing tattoos in the backyard to just raise extra funds, and I didn't have anything, and I was like, "Yo, are you down to tattoo my third nipple's name above my third nipple?" And he was like, "What the fuck?"
That's a crazy ass first
and
tattoo.
And I was like, "Whatever." It took like 30 seconds. He just Paco in cursive. You're
like, "Look, mom, look, I got my third nipple tattooed."
Yeah, I actually showed. I've she wouldn't have been cool with tattoos, but I was like, "Look what I got," and she was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Oh my god, you're
so weird. And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know."
That's fucking hilarious, man.
But yeah,
you got a pretty sick like back piece as well that I always notice whenever whenever you're playing.
Whenever
shirtless
I
or
have to show it off because I spent so much fucking money on it that I'm not gonna not take my shirt off.
Exactly. Is it?
Yeah.
It's ongoing too as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't worked on it a lot this year just because being on and off the tours, I wanted to like be home and chill, not have a healing back tattoo.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's a work in progress. It goes from my shoulders all the way down to the backs of my knees. It's like
the backs of the knees.
Yeah, it's a full back. So it's butt cheeks, back of the thighs, everything.
Holy
It's
shit.
the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and then once it hits my waist, it's just like rocks and skulls and like demons and shit.
Holy shit. Herb did that, didn't he?
Yeah, huh?
Herb did that,
Herb,
right?
yeah, Herb at California Electric. That's the fucking
Herb
man.
Arbach.
Yeah, Herb Arbach. That dude's fucking, he rules. This shit's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I really want to get some stuff on my chest done by him, but all in good time.
All in good time. You got many years to get tattoos.
Exactly. I'm just taking it slow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess we can get into the music stuff now, but
tattoos, trucks,
forklifts, all the shit, union stuff,
motorcycles, Harleys are cool. What else do I like? Meat. I don't know.
Meat. All right, that's sick.
Let's not go down that road.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. All right. Okay, so you are from San Jose, I would assume.
Born and raised.
Okay, sick. I don't know, what was it like growing up in San Jose? What part are you from? Like,
I grew up on
what's the background story here?
Yeah. I grew up on the west. My whole family has lived in the west side, both on my mom's and dad's side, for like, I don't know, fucking a long time. Like my dad's mom is from the west side. My mom's mom is from. It's just we've all been in the same area. The west side's pretty tame. It's not insane. I'm not gonna say that I grew up in the fucking hood. The west side's probably one of the chillest sides of San Jose.
Hey, it's all good.
It was cool, man. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I had a pretty alright like upbringing and like childhood and shit like that. I mean, some stuff was not as cool as the other stuff.
Yeah.
Growing up in like a divorcing household, there's a lot of not cool shit that happens.
Of course.
It is what it is. I like the west side, man. There's a lot to do on the west side. It's kind of slept on, honestly. What's
up, bud?
Yeah. Josie's the star of the show now. Josie, off. Hey, get off. That's her spot, so she's going to want to, just move that over. She'll probably that over.
So we were talking about you growing up on the west side.
Yeah.
Of San Jose.
Yeah. It was cool. I moved a few years ago. Me and Dirt, the fucking legend himself, we were both looking for pads around the same time. It was COVID. It was like, COVID had been a thing for like almost a year at that point. I was ready to get the fuck out. He was ready to get the fuck out.
You guys were both in the west side, or were you in the west side? No,
Dirt was living in Hollister.
Okay, so he was like in the hometown.
Yeah, and he was with his family, I was with mine, and we were both just like, dude, let's fucking, like, I wish we just had our own pad, just fucking do whatever the fuck we want. And we both just started looking. We were actually looking with our friend JT too, but we ended up stumbling on this house, 420, the 420 house. I'm not going to give the full address because that'll be a little weird.
You already know.
But yeah, we found this spot, fucking 2-bedroom. We were like, fuck it, let's run it. It's for like super cheap. I was telling you earlier, but for the sake of the interview, it's we're renting a house that a developer owns, and they're gonna be ready to bulldoze it. Fucking I don't know when, but it's all gonna be condos eventually. So we're like
gentrification, man.
Yeah,
it's a bitch.
Yeah, it's plaguing downtown San Jose, which is where we are now. And yeah, but I mean, it's like oh, dude, perfect situation. We can fucking paint shit. We could like have parties. Yeah, we don't got to worry about shit getting fucked up as much as just taking care of our own house and having it
totally
be like a nice spot. But yeah, been going strong here. It's an awesome spot.
Nice. And this is like the spot that the bands normally come to.
Yeah,
when they're in
yeah.
town.
We're lucky. We got like an attic. We got a decent sized living room and a blow up mattress. You know what I mean? So shit, dude. We've crammed fucking like 10 people in here uncomfortably.
Yeah, totally.
But when Speed stayed here, there was like fucking like 8 or 9 people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did they stay here twice?
Most touring bands. What, like with the last? I don't.
Did they? When they played last year, did they stay here? When they played the Bay?
I think a couple of them did.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm having a hard time remembering.
But this year,
yeah, no, a few of them did.
Okay.
Last year, yes. This year, a few.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, me and Dirt have a Polaroid, or not a Polaroid, a disposable camera that we actually took a picture of everybody on our stoop.
Hell yeah.
And so we've got like a fucking, however many, it's like 25, 30 or whatever, pictures of just like all the bands that have crashed here.
Dude, that's
Everybody
awesome.
posted up on the stoops. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
When did you and Dirt meet, like, originally?
Um,
Because I know you guys are like the synonymous duo that's associated with this house.
yeah, so Dirt was playing guitar. I mean, we'd like known of each other kinda, because I mean, I've been going to shows way longer than I had met him, but that was because I wasn't really going to like hardcore shows when I was like younger. I was like more in like the skinhead and punk scene.
Yeah.
And then ended up going to hardcore shows, and I was like, I kind of knew Dirt. Like, we were just like, oh yeah, he's like some dude that I know. But then he was playing guitar for a band that my brother was in, and
What was this band called?
it was You Lose.
Oh, You Lose. Okay.
And
sick.
then it was I think that was the only one. But anyways, so they would practice at my dad's house,
Okay,
where I
sick.
lived.
Tight.
Because my dad's a drummer and he has a like a little like drum studio kind of in the garage. So they would practice there, and so Dirt was always over, or like every once in a while, But I was like working full time and going to school full time, so I'd get home from school at like 9:30 at night.
Yeah, totally.
And fuck, these dudes are all hanging out in the garage, and me and Dirt kind of became friends from that because he'd kind of be like getting away from everybody else, and I'd be like tired. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
He'd be
definitely.
Like, I don't know, you want to go grab a beer? And we're like, oh yeah.
Heck yeah, just
so
chilling.
Kind of, yeah. And then like when COVID became a thing, whenever he was in town, he'd be like, yo, it's I'm in San Jose. Let me swing by and like we'll fucking just hang out in the backyard.
And chill.
So, yeah, he's just a chill motherfucker.
Dude, he is a chill motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So, we ended up like being tight. And then it was like, yo, dude, honestly, like, you're hella low key and mellow and responsible. I was like, let's just, if we end up getting a spot together, that'd be fucking rad. Dude, perfect roommate.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean,
he keeps himself like.
Dude, he's chillest motherfucker on the
chillest
planet.
dude, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's rad. Yeah, and like both of us being as like dedicated to like making the wheels turn kind of for
music
shows sometimes out here.
Yeah, definitely.
It's we've had a lot of conversations on this couch about just what we're gonna do about X, Y, and Z, or our thoughts and opinions on this, or it'd be cool if we did this, and yeah, hatched a lot of ideas in this living room, which is cool.
That's so sick, man.
Yeah.
Kind of like we're kind of jumping all over the place here, but I kind of wanted to go back to like when you were a lot younger and like getting into like I don't know, just more aggressive music and stuff like that, because everyone's kind of different with their entryway into that. But
right.
I guess you were saying like your family was like kind of musical, is what you were saying.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean, I grew up around music. Like my dad's a blues drummer, so
okay.
So I knew a lot of like I don't know, when I was like younger teenager and I started getting into like punk and stuff like that, I was like into it, but nothing really clicked as much. But my dad, I was exposed to a lot of like soul and a lot of like oldies and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
That kind of music. So when I started getting into like more skinhead shit, I was like, oh wait, I already know like a lot of this music, a lot of like old reggae and like rocksteady and stuff like that. I was like, oh shit, my dad used to play this. You know what I mean? I didn't realize that.
Definitely.
That it was just fucking music.
Yeah, exactly. It's all music, man.
Yeah. But my older brother was into he was into punk, so I got a lot of like stealing his CDs or whatever. Like I found a good number of bands that way. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Do you play an instrument?
No.
So you don't play the instrument?
No, my dad's. I mean, dude, my dad's a fucking drum teacher. My dad's been drumming for like 50 years plus.
Oh,
like
wow.
He's like a drum teacher and everything. Tried to teach me, and I never really had the attention span for it. I tried learning how to play guitar. I just couldn't stick with it. I just wasn't my thing. I don't know.
Nice. Well, so were you just like the little dude that was just like moshing all the time, like when you were like younger, and then eventually were you just like, oh, I don't play an instrument, but you know, I could like yell in a band.
Yeah, kinda. I was like, well, I got to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did. When I was in like middle school and high school, I was in like a couple plays and shit like that. So
Okay, cool.
I already had like
A voice.
yeah, but I mean like stage fright wasn't really much of a thing for me.
Okay, gotcha.
I felt like, okay, well, I feel like I could have like, you know, have decent presence and like not just be up there like
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I mean? So
Freaking out.
Yeah, and I got energy, so it was like, you know, fuck it, wanna just do this. It took forever for me to actually like. I tried starting bands forever, you know, just like hitting people up. It's like, oh, let's start a band, but you know, of course, I'd be hitting people up who are already
in bands and
fucking
stuff.
like 7 bands.
Of course.
So
Yep.
it just took forever, but you know, ended up just
Totally. And I think that's kind of how like people end up just writing all the music for stuff, is because they're like, okay, I want to start a band, but no one else is wanting to play in this. So,
Yeah.
all right, so I guess I got to get it off the ground myself. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to write all the music and shit. I don't know if that's how it is. That's just kind of how it's been for me recently, where I've been like, all right,
Yeah, no, I mean,
I'm not really like clicking with anyone that's like wanting to do like exactly the same thing I'm going for. So fuck it, I'm just going to write it myself. And
Yeah.
then I've got homies who will definitely play with me.
yeah, or I mean, if you have an idea or a vision for something and you just want to make it happen, I mean, like, yeah, if you have the means to just fucking play everything or write everything or whatever it is, then fucking why not? I mean, that's what Justin did with Condition 1.
And Feel the Flames.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a fucking mastermind. He knew what to do and he knew how to do it, so he just fucking did it. And then, you know, that's how I ended up doing vocals for Condition 1, because all that music got released and I was like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, what is this? And he was like, yeah, I just wanted to make it. I'd been sitting on this riff or, you know, whatever. Figured I'd just record it all and just get it out there. And I was like, well, this band has to play a show. So like when can I book a show and like Condition 1 can play? And he was like, oh, we don't have a lineup yet. And we were like, what the fuck? So he was like, I don't know, you and Dirt, because him and Dirt were all hanging out. He's like, you guys want to just like do it and then we'll just find, you know, a couple other people to fill the gaps and just form a lineup just to play a show. We're like, yeah, fuck it. And then after the first show, it was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, this is the lineup.
Yep.
So
totally.
we're just doing this.
Yep.
Because it's, you know, it's like fucking good to play music with my best friends. It's like the best fucking.
Dude, I was so sad that I could not be at the first one. I would remember I was on a plane and I was just like, because I remember I found the demo like, I don't know, it was like the week of when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is so sick. I don't know who's in this band or anything like that or who this is. I know it came out of the Bay because this is right when I moved up here, actually.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is sick. This is awesome. Like, I followed the Instagram stuff and I was like, oh, wait, they're playing like Feel the Flames and like, who else? Eightful Path played that. Arbitrary's first show as well.
First show, yeah.
Yeah, and then your guys' first show. I was so bummed that I couldn't.
That was also the first show that I had done at Uproar, at Level Uproar, that brewery.
First and last.
First
you
and
booked,
last,
right?
yeah. I mean, there was a couple other
Spinebreaker played there.
shows,
I remember.
Yeah, but that was it wasn't like my show or anything. But
that spot's just. What's their deal? Do they just not want to throw shows like
no,
that
they closed.
anymore? Oh, they closed.
They closed,
dude.
yeah. Yeah, the unfortunate thing with shows in the Bay, or in San Jose specifically, the majority of the time it's not venues being bummed out on the music or being bummed out on the crowd. In fact, they're usually like really stoked.
There's a lot of people there.
Yeah, and they fucking kill it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, one, they take a percentage at the door.
Yep.
Two, if you know, like Uproar was a brewery, they were selling
So much alcohol.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, you're gonna crush it. We did that show on like a Sunday night or something like that.
Yep.
And yeah, it was like it did
Packed
great.
out.
Yeah, same thing with the S27 shows. I mean, dude, like they it's like, yeah, like most of the attendees for shows are kids, but I mean,
they're still there.
There's still people there,
Exactly.
and there's some of them are going to be adults and drinking. So
Yep, definitely.
you know, they make their money.
You were gonna say something about the unfortunate thing with a lot of venues in San Jose.
It's just that they close.
Dang.
It's just I found S27 at the end of their lifetime, and I was like, what do you mean you're closing next month? Same thing with Uproar. Like, I did that one show, and I was like, let me know when I can do more. And you know, it took a couple months, and then finally I heard back, and they were like, yeah, we're closing this location down.
Dude, that's awful.
I'm like, well, fuck, okay. I mean,
Now I gotta find another spot.
never ends.
Yep, Orifice is not a thing anymore, at least for hardcore
no,
shows right now?
It's not.
Yeah.
He ended up. It's actually official. He had his last show.
Oh,
at the
okay.
at the end of October.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not a spot anymore. So now you just got. I don't know what there's no other spots in San Jose that I know of right now.
There's no. Aside from like parking lot DIY kind of shit, which I'm down for, it's just a matter of
Finding the spot.
Yeah, and also planning for like the winter.
Oh,
You know,
totally.
You can't do
Cold-
parking lot shows.
Cold as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? Announce a show a fucking month in advance, and then it gets down to the day, and it's like, oh, it's raining this weekend,
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
booked a show in a fucking parking lot. Ugh.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's aggravating, but you know, luckily we got good relationships with venues
Other
in
spots.
SF and the East Bay, and
Yeah. Gilman's back, so that's pretty sick.
Gilman is back in full force. Yeah, so it all works out.
Unfortunate, but you know, it's the reality of booking stuff.
It is.
I'm sure it's probably pretty stressful at times too.
It's, you know, I'm from San Jose. I love San Jose. I love to ride for San Jose. If I could book every show in my own fucking city, I would.
That'd be tight.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm working on it. Me and some friends are, I'm not going to divulge too much information, but me and some friends are working on something right now where we could potentially be opening our own venue that everybody could use.
Stay tuned.
Soon, next year, I don't know. It's a process, and there's a reason why there's so few. It's because it's such a fucking headache.
Yeah.
There's a million hoops you got to jump through, and San Jose is expensive as fuck.
Yep.
And you know, trying to get your name on the lease for a warehouse without like a fucking company and a lot of money backing you
It's hard.
is hard. Yeah, I don't blame people for not wanting to open the doors of their business to have a bunch of fucking asshole teenagers come through and beat the dog shit out of each other and fucking, you know,
And then leave.
You have any idea how many times I've had to repair drywall?
That's what I was gonna.
venues?
That's one thing I was gonna say. I was like, oh yeah, all the
Fuck.
framing and shit, and like all the construction
man.
stuff. Like that probably came in. I mean, unfortunately, came in handy for some situations,
Dude,
man.
I mean, it's a good thing that I know how to do it, but yeah, bro, like after every show at the Orifice, I'd come in the week later and like I'd just patch the drywall. Shows at the beat shop, patching the drywall.
Milpitas.
Yeah, eventful place, patching the drywall. Fucking Playback Studios. Fuck, I did a ton of work there.
And then
And then it fucking closed. It's like, fuck.
dude, that was. I remember because you guys had like knocked down all the stuff in Playback and like
Yeah,
made it
man.
sick and like made it a
Fuck.
huge room.
I
and then
spent hours in there.
and then literally a week or so later, they're like, yeah, you know, we're done.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. And it was a whole fucking thing with that. There was so many moving pieces that made that not work out at the end of the day. But yeah, I was like, really?
Yeah.
I think we had like one show in there where all of the whatever the fuck they were, soffits or whatever, got taken out. But I was like, fuck, man. It is what it is, though. I mean, shit. You try shit, doesn't work. You try shit, doesn't work. And you try shit, and doesn't fucking work.
Totally.
Eventually, something's gonna work.
When did you start booking shows, and were you? Because I know Malachi was doing a lot of stuff for RNRG, like in the pre-pandemic. But were you like involved with that? I guess in that time period, or did you kind of jump on a little later?
Yeah. So.
Because you're the main guy right now, I know.
Yeah, pretty much. So Malachi wasn't booking his RNRG pre-pandemic. He was just setting up
shows,
all the Sub Rosa shows, Peace and Justice Center. Like he was the main booking force for like the South Bay and Santa Cruz. Well, him and Stephanie Chang.
Yeah. I've heard of her. Never met her, but
yeah. Oh, she's awesome. She did a lot for San Jose DIY. Anyways, so he wasn't booking his RNRG then. After the pandemic, him and my homeboy Shady down south started RNRG, and it was going to kind of be like a north and south kind of thing. And then it kind of just became more just Malachi. And that was right out of the gate. But he's in Scowl, and Scowl's touring nonstop.
Yeah, they just don't stop.
So he'd be setting shows up, and he's like. And he'd be hitting me up because I'm at everything all the time. And he's like, well, you're the homeboy, and, I need, this show to be tended to, or, somebody needs to be here to run point, or I need to find an opener for this and that. and then so it kind of because I'd only booked a few shows like in my backyard like
Gotcha.
before that.
Yeah.
I wasn't like a booker, you know what I mean?
Totally.
I wanted to set more up, but I just didn't really know how. But it kind of fell into my lap with RNRG because it went from, hey, I need somebody to run this show, to, okay, well, what are the young bands that are coming out in the area right now? I'm never home. I'm not really sure. So, and it's like, well, I know all these kids because I go to their shows.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, okay, well, these kids are really grinding right now. Let's throw them a show. Let's throw these guys a show. Let's work this out. And then the kids started kind of thinking that I was just the guy because I was the one hitting them up to play stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So then it was like, okay, well, now people are hitting me up, and Malachi's like,
I'm touring right now.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, so-and-so is on tour. They're coming through on that date. Can you build a lineup, get a flyer, do the whole thing?
Yeah.
So, and then it it just kind of progressed, and I was doing a little bit more, biting off a little bit more, and then it kind of now it's like, okay, well, I'm home, and I kind of have an idea of how everything's going out here, you know what I mean? I know all the kids.
Because you're here all the time.
And I'm here all the time, so it kind of just made sense that I'm like, Malachi, go do your thing. I got this.
I'll do it.
I got this, yeah.
Totally.
But it's cool. It's organic that way.
Of course.
Which I like. Sometimes people jump into the booking thing, and they're like, trying to make
it's got to be this way, that way, this way.
Or they're trying to make a name for themselves.
Oh, yeah, that's so weird.
They're trying to be like that guy.
The
they're
guy.
Like, look what I did. I booked this show. I'm blah, blah, blah. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, totally.
Just book the fucking show.
Yeah.
Just set it up. Let the people fucking do their thing.
Yeah.
Let the kids pull up, pay the bands, go home.
Yep, exactly.
It's not about you. Just fucking set up the show. That's your job.
Yep, exactly.
Just keep the ball rolling.
Totally. And of course, I was gonna say something, and then I forgot it again. But
That's all right.
It is what it is. We'll keep it rolling.
Yeah. Booking's cool, man. I enjoy booking.
Dude, I've started at Sabrosa now, and it's been fun. It's been fun. There's been a like, I don't know, just with how many people come to shows, it's a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
It is.
Because I'm like, oh God, there's like a shitload of people in this tiny ass fucking bookstore, and I don't want anything to break, and I don't want the band's shit to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm stressed. But at the end of the day, normally nothing bad happens, and it was a good time, and the band's got fucking, hopefully people bought merch, and I pay the bands or whatever, and it was chill, and it was a fun time. But like it can be stressful sometimes, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, and especially coming out of the pandemic, there was a huge surge of younger people going to shows, which is awesome. There's no diss against that. But when you're new, you don't know a lot of the unspoken etiquette with shows. And one of the biggest headaches, as grateful as we were that there was a lot of kids getting involved in the scene and going to shows and were really enthusiastic about it, they had no motherfucking chill. Zero fucking chill.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, man? When I was a kid, I had kind of a particular upbringing because I grew up with an older crowd,
older people,
and
telling you what's up or whatever.
And if I fucked around, I would have gotten my fucking shit kicked, bro. Like like I couldn't be a fucking asshole little kid. I could maybe if I was like, I used to volunteer at Gilman all the time when I was in high school. And we'd get drunk down the street, and like that was like, I would do that, but
that's like a way.
Yeah, but it's also like there's a time and place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of these kids didn't know when that time and place was. So one of the biggest headaches was dealing with a bunch of very obvious 15-year-olds dying of alcohol poisoning in front of the X bar. And it's like, come on, guys, they sell alcohol here. You can't be getting blackout drunk at a bar that's letting us do all ages shows. Like, I get that it's like, it's a cool event, party, it's lit, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? But fuck, dog, like
that's probably not why you should be here.
Yeah, well, it's like I party. I've gotten blackout drunk at a million shows when I was younger. but it's like you gotta know when and where to do it.
Pick and choose your spots, man.
Yeah, and maybe this, we're hanging on to venues by a thread. Maybe don't do it at the spots that's like most likely to get shut down, or if cops showed up, everybody would be in the most trouble.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
know what I mean? Like, save that shit for the fucking DIY bridge spots.
Yeah, totally.
Like, do that there. Do that where you're just like, it's just you and your friends fucking around. Don't, you know what I mean? Like,
do you think people have gotten more chill?
yes.
Because
yes.
I haven't seen as much shit at
No.
the shows as maybe I was like like more beginning of the year, like
Yeah.
even last year too.
Yeah, there's still a shit ton of kids. There's no shortage of
No stopping them.
of young people. Yeah, but I think that the kids who were there for the post-pandemic party time, like, everybody was all cooped up, and then finally shit's happening, and everybody's just going fucking bonkers. The people who were around for that, I think they kind of weeded themselves out, because there are the younger kids that are fucking diehards, and they might have gotten into it during the pandemic, whatever, but it doesn't matter to them because they would have been just as diehard if they had gotten into it in 2019 as opposed to 2021.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think those kids kind of weeded out the fakes themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in age groups regulating their own age groups. I don't like it when older people fuck with kids.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when kids try to fuck with older people.
Yeah.
Take, like, focus on
Yourself.
on your own generation. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think they kind of figured that out. And show's been great now. I remember back in the day there used to be fucking fights all the time, and now these kids beat the shit out of each other, and there's like 10 broken noses in a show.
What's up?
And 0 fights. I'm like, what the fuck? I remember back in the day, dude, like, you get moshed on wrong and there'd be a fight. Now these kids are just pulverizing each other, and it's like, whatever. It's awesome.
Totally.
It's awesome. The attitude's great. Everybody's there for the right reasons, which is sick.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you ever have trouble building a lineup for a particular show?
Yes.
Because it's funny, as I've been trying to book Sabrosa a little more, like, I've been like, man, like, all my homies bands are like fucking sick, but I don't want to just be putting on the same like 5 bands on the same bill like all the time. I want like new stuff. But I don't know if you deal with the same issue when you're building lineups for bands, or do you just have like a note sheet of like, all right, this kid came up to me at this show, said he had a band. This kid said he had a band. I don't know, like, what is your process with like building a lineup, I guess? It's
a combination of all of those. Part of it is picking bands that fit the lineup.
Yeah, of course.
As much as I like a mixed bill show, that happened more frequently pre-pandemic because there was less bands to draw from. So you kind of you want to work everybody in, so you get the mixed bill shows because you want to get everybody on a show. But now it's kind of at a point where like, there's a little bit of everything going on, so you can kind of curate the show around like a genre, like all beat down bands, or like a punk band is coming through. Okay, well, let's get some fucking, like some metal and some punk, or like an oi band. It's like, okay, well, what active skinhead bands are in the area that makes sense for the lineup and will, draw a crowd where everybody is kind of there for everything that's going on.
The same shit.
Yeah. And then, but like hardcore can be such a vague thing that it's easy sometimes.
And sometimes bands just like transcend certain genres too.
Sure. Yeah. A lot of the time there are, new bands or like new kids, and they'll come up to me when I'm working the door or something like that, and they're like, hey, I'm so-and-so, me and my friends have this band in Santa Cruz or San Jose or Oakland. Let me know if we could ever hop on a show. And so I'll be setting a show up, and it's like, okay, well, I've done a few shows in San Jose already this month, and I got a few in the East Bay, so let me plug a couple into like the Vets Hall or Sub Rosa or, whatever. And I'm like, oh, well, this younger band from Santa Cruz has been asking for a show. I'll fucking throw them on. That way they get play their own area, and I'm filling up a lineup, and it'll be a cool show.
Totally.
You know, so sometimes it works out like that. I've got a list, honestly, of people who have hit me up for shows or bands that, you know, are like, hey, whenever you need somebody, let me know. And it's separated by genre. And I'm like, oh, this punk band asked for a show last month, and I got one coming up, and the headliner's kind of the same style. So, yeah, fuck, I'll just throw them on if they're available. And then, boom, you know. I feel like with booking, at least for me, like, I want to make everybody happy, right?
Yeah, of course.
I want to make all the bands happy. I want to make a lineup that makes sense. I want everybody who goes to the show to be like, oh yeah, this, you know, it's not a fucking grind band playing with a beat down hardcore band, playing with an emo band, playing with an indie band.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's, you know, yeah, you can do that,
stretched.
and it'll be cool, and people will go. But it's like, but you could also fucking think about it a little bit,
Yeah,
and you
totally.
know, make it a little, you know,
more cohesive.
Formulate it, yeah, exactly. You know, everybody does everything differently. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Mixville shows, but you know, I do like, dude, I've got like recently I've been doing like 7 to 8 shows a month. You know, and that's all over the Bay. That's in like the East Bay, West Bay, San Jose, Santa Cruz, and it's like at that point now I'm like, okay, well, what bands are trying to play their areas, and you know, what show would do good where should I plug, like what venue should I plug it in? There's a lot that goes on to it, you know what I mean? Yeah, but it's fun. It's a headache. It's a headache, but at the same time,
it's a good time.
When you have that much going on and you're like trying to make everything work and plug everything in, and then you do it, and you're like, yo, like I've got like a calendar and I'm like crossing off all this. It's like, okay, that show's done. This show still has to be booked. I need a flyer for these. And then like you get everything. It's like this immense sense of accomplishment. And then to be at the show and watching everybody have a good time, and the bands have a good reaction, and all the kids are stoked, and everybody gets paid, and the venue's happy. You're just like, you know, you drive home.
Yeah.
You drive home and you're like, that was cool.
Yeah,
that was a cool show. Hit the group chat and be like, hey guys, really cool show tonight. Good to see everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, it's
till
just
next
fun.
time.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's dope, man.
It's fun. Yeah, I try not to think of it too much as like, I did this, because that's not what it's about. But there's that internal sense of accomplishment, and knowing that you're not just a participator, you're like a contributor or a facilitator. You know what I mean? In the scene. Yeah. Which feels good.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
You did something positive.
Especially when there's a lot of whack bitch-made motherfuckers that try to make the wheels turn, and they do it wrong, or like they're doing it for themselves or whatever, and just kind of the feeling that it's like, yo, like I'm booking the right bands, I'm setting shit up the way that it should be.
Yeah, it's not. It's genuine.
Yeah, it's not. There's no. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, for sure.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the other like main topic points that I wanted to touch on was you've now traveled around the world with a little band called Tsunami, as the, like, you know, merch slanger / I don't know what other duties
mobber,
you have.
Designated
mobber. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like, I guess you probably got the gig because, I mean, you live with dirt, so it probably kind of made sense for them when they were like, oh, we're going to start touring.
Just being friends with everybody, you know, just kind of, yeah. Because they had hit me up last year to do Europe with them. Mm-hmm. Because they're actually going to have somebody else do it. And they were like, oh, man, they flaked. They're like, Danny, can you even do it? Because they had mentioned it. And I was like, oh, well, I got work. And I actually sprung it on my job hella last minute. And they were like, wow, sounds like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We're not going to stop you from doing that. Go out and have fun. Yeah. And then I you know, did a good job doing merch, because that's, you know, there's some attention that you got to put into that.
Of course.
So they were like, dude, you know, come with us on the next one. And then I was like, hey, wasn't once in a lifetime. I'm actually gonna do it for like 6 months coming up.
Yep. And they're like, yeah, do it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just just being friends with everybody and being like trustworthy, I guess.
Totally.
With like money and managing merch, it's a job in and of itself.
Definitely. So you guys went to Asia really recently.
Yeah.
How was that? Because I don't think a lot of bands at least in this genre can say like, oh, we went to Asia and went the whole stretch of like the east side of that continent or whatever.
Yeah, well, we did Japan for 2 weeks. I think it was like 8 or 9 shows in Japan, and then 5 shows spanning over a week in Southeast Asia. And it was fucking awesome, dude. I mean, it was sick. Just being involved in a subculture and knowing that no matter where you are on the planet, that subculture is pretty much going to be the same thing across the board, which is like, DIY ethics, the camaraderie, the, helping each other out, being hella friendly. And it's just like, oh yeah, like we listen to the same kind of music. We're friends now. Do you know what I mean? Like you have something to talk about with everybody. It's sick.
Was there like a language barrier between a lot of people, or do a lot of people speak English? Or
yeah. So I didn't even do merch for the Japan and Southeast Asia.
Okay, so you were just there.
Designated mobber.
Straight up, this guy right here. Let's go.
I go places and I do stuff with my friends.
Yep, that's sick.
Yeah, because that one was. I mean, they spoke good enough English. You know what I mean? For the most part, there was not everybody. But for the most part, they spoke pretty good English, enough to do merch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it just made sense when Tsunami was figuring it out with the bookers over there. They were like, "We'll just have somebody
do it.
Just do it for you guys."
Yeah, because I was gonna ask with like currency exchange and stuff like that, like how that would have worked doing merch. But obviously, you didn't have to do that. But like, I don't know in Europe, like how does that work with like the currency? Like
it's a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, like how do you even go about like figuring that shit out?
So for the most part, the European Union uses euros.
Yes.
So that was easy because it's just you have the same money and the same change, and you can some countries might use the euro, but their economy is better, so you got to kind of adjust the prices a little bit, not crazy.
Okay.
But then you get into like Eastern Europe, and then you have like the francs, and like like I think like Poland had their own money, and I'm gonna fuck this up and get shit mixed up, so I'm not gonna try. But some of them had different currencies.
Yeah.
And it would piss me off because it's like what is this, like fucking Monopoly money? Like it's the bills are all different sizes and colors, and I don't even know what the fuck the coins are.
Oh, gotcha.
Sometimes
are they just handing you shit and you're just like, oh, I don't have money to like give back to you?
We would have to figure it out. Yeah. So sometimes we would be like, yo, if you have like a card or like
okay.
I think we were using PayPal.
Okay.
For some of it, we were like, let's do that. Just because it was way easier, and you could do the currency exchange thing because we had a card reader.
Yeah, exactly.
So you could could set it up before every show, so that
to be in whatever the money
or at least
is.
like if the card reader was set up for euros, you could do a pre-convert everything and then like plug in that amount for every item. So yeah, so like people could still see it and be like, they're like, oh well, I know that 30 euros is this many of my money, so I'll give you this much, and then stuff like that.
Exactly. Okay, gotcha.
It is a pain in the ass though. I remember in Italy, or not Italy, in Paris, France, there was a bunch of people who straight didn't speak English.
Yeah, like not a lick of it.
They'd walk up and they'd start speaking French at me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. I am not from here.
Yeah. So, it was just shit like that. But it all works out. You point at numbers, and, everybody's got fucking smartphones. You just go Google Translate or whatever, and
Speak into my phone after.
yeah,
whatever.
you got to be a lazy piece of shit for it to not work out.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like it's not the most complicated thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you got any like crazy? I mean, not even like. Do you have any like interesting stories from overseas in any of these places? Because I know one of the show. Actually, you know what? You go for it, and then I'll question you about like the thing that I saw.
Yeah. Okay. So it was Germany last year.
Uh-huh.
When we were in Europe, and Tsunami was selling these hammers. They were like wooden hammers with like metal heads, like a normal like household hammer.
That had just like Tsunami on it or some shit.
Yeah, with like Tsunami RBS engraved on the handle, like laser engraved. They're fucking badass.
Hell yeah,
right?
I bet.
We had a small number of them. Selling it for a little bit more than the t-shirts were going for. Whatever. We only had like maybe 25 of them for the entire tour. They didn't sell like hotcakes. We're in Germany, and people over there are interesting.
So I've heard about Germany specifically.
Yeah, they are socially interesting.
Yeah.
And the manner that they ask questions and interact on a like merchandise buying level is strange. And there was this dude that came up, and he was like, he walked up all like pouty. He was like, he was looking at everything, and I was like, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And he looks at me and goes, "What is a hammer?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was all, "Why are you selling the hammer?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a hammer, and it says Tsunami on it, and you can buy it if you want." And he was like, "Well, I don't get it." And I was like,
"Who cares?"
I was like, "Well, it's." So I'm selling stuff for Tsunami, and this is the stuff that they have available, and you can buy it if you want it. Like, what's... And he started asking me all these questions about, like, what was the meaning, and this and that, and he's like, "I would never use the hammer. Like, I have a hammer. Why would I buy a hammer with the band name?" And I was like, "Dog, like, there's..." And he fucking argued with me, dog. Like, he fucking... Like, I was, like, explaining it, and every question I had, like, an answer, and I was like, well, it's... I was like, you could look at it as, like, a collectible item. Like, I don't know, do you like the band?
You're, like, pulling shit out of your ass, like,
yeah, I'm like, I don't know, it's a beatdown band, and hammers are, they go hand in hand? I don't fucking know. And he asked so many fucking times, I was finally like, you know what, dog? You don't fucking want to understand. I just explained it to you. There's a line of fucking people behind you.
Oh my god.
And I'm sitting here arguing with you about why I have a fucking hammer on the desk. Fuck off.
That's what you had to tell him?
Go. Yeah, I was like, dog, fucking go away. Like, you don't want to buy the hammer. I get it. Fuck off. So he's all, all fucking smarter than me, whatever. He fucking walks away. The next dude that walks up, some fucking younger kid, he's all, "I'll buy the hammer." And I was like,
yeah.
yes.
Let's go.
And I pointed this fool, and I'm like, see? I'm like, it's just a fucking, like, it's just an item, bro. Like, you want it or you don't.
It's not deep.
Yeah. So that was, because I was like, I got mad, dude. I was like, I've never had to.
He pushed you to that point.
Well, it's like, why am I fucking validating, albeit kind of, silly merch item? It's like, yeah, what, you think you're going to use this fucking hammer to build a house? Like, no, you fucking asshole. It just has the band's name on it. Same thing with a fucking shirt. Oh, yeah, you're going to wear that shirt to a wedding? No, you fucking put it on your wall and look sick as fuck.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Or wear it around. It's just dumb.
Whatever.
Yeah, shit like that.
That's
which is probably my most interesting merch interaction.
Yeah, totally.
Honestly, because aside from that, it's just people are just stoked to be buying shit from a band that they like.
Yeah, from across the world.
Yeah, and it's cool as the merch guy because I get to sit there and interact with them. I'm not like super social. I don't like walk around in a crowd of people that I don't know sparking conversation. I don't, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So to be in a position where you can be in a foreign place with people who don't know you at all, but they're coming up to you and there's a forced interaction And, you know, like they're pleasant, I'm pleasant, and I'm like, oh yeah, what's up with this city? And they're like, dude, you got to check out this, this, and this. And they're like, do you like this? And I'm like, yeah. And it's like, oh, and then I get a feel for what the people are like out there because they're just the regular fucking showgoers.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
not, you know, I'm not talking to the fucking band that's trying to like, you know, act a certain way or like, you know, or whatever, or it's just normal fucking people who are just at the show and want to buy a t-shirt, and I get to talk to them.
Yep.
And that's tight.
Of course.
Because, you know, you meet the assholes and you meet the cool people and you make friends, and it's fun, you know?
Yep.
And you don't sit there getting punished for any certain amount of time because they have somewhere to go and you don't.
Yep.
So, you know, I can always just be like, all right, let's wrap this up because I got to get to the next person in line.
Peace.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, that was fun. That person was interesting.
Yep.
You know, but it's...
Or annoying as fuck.
Or annoying as fuck.
Like the one
Yeah.
person. That's hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So it's cool just being able to meet people, kind of just get a feel for what people are like in those areas.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah.
People
Like
are
Southeast,
interesting.
like, dude, like, you know, being in Southeast Asia, you're like, oh, holy shit. You know, like some people really live like, you know, it's
Doggy dog world out there.
to a degree. Yeah,
Yeah.
to a degree. It's not the fucking Western world. You
No.
know what I mean? But these kids are, you know, they've got fucking money that they want to spend, no matter how hard they had to save it or, you know, how hard they had to work for it or whatever. They're stoked to be buying merch. That's what they want to spend their money on. And when they get that thing that they want, when they finally, like, I saw kids buy shit and like hold it up and then like hug it to their chest walking away because they're just like that stoked. They bought the merch from the band that they love.
That's so sick.
And it's like so wholesome and such like I don't know, it's like such a dumb small thing that you take for granted. But then you think that there's kids who don't go to hardcore shows every fucking night.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there isn't fucking like 3 hardcore shows happening every week with their favorite bands playing, you know what I mean? They're like, we're grateful to live in California and have such a
sick scene.
Yeah, such a high density of sick bands that come through and want to play that area. So
yeah, totally.
It's really cool, man.
That's sick, dude.
Yeah.
One thing I was gonna ask, and I don't know. I think I'm kind of getting to the end of my questions, but one of the things I was gonna ask is there was a show that got shut down in I don't know what country it was in Asia. And
in Malaysia,
I don't know what the
Kuala
deal with that was, but like,
yeah. So
was it kind of gnarly or like I don't know, because I've heard like there's been some stuff with like, you know, authorities and stuff like, you know, messing with bands and stuff like that in the past.
Yeah. So I don't want to like divulge like all of the, because I know
Of course.
you know, it's hard booking shows and sometimes, and it's even harder when you're booking shows in a country that will jump at, you know, or where law enforcement will jump at an opportunity to shut down, you know, a DIY illegal
spot.
you know, like, yeah. So we found out when we were on our way from the airport that the show had gotten shut down. And it was something to do with like the cops found out or something, or maybe, you know, they're saying like, oh, you got to like pay off the local law enforcement, and whether, yeah, it was like a whole thing.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And whether, you know, regardless of like who did what or didn't do what, right? It got shut down, and it was too last minute to relocate, or it just wasn't within their means. But we ended up pulling up to the venue anyways, and all the kids were standing outside like, what the fuck? Like, the show got canceled. But, you know, Tsunami pulled up, and the kids were all stoked.
That's dope.
And they got to take the pictures with all their, you know, the guys.
I
in the
saw that
band.
you guys did like a group picture or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that with
I mean, they
everyone.
were stoked, and it was like
That's
they still
dope.
got to, like, they were all heartbroken.
I bet.
A lot of those kids saved up a lot of money to be able to travel to go see that band play.
Yeah.
You know, they went from like all over the country to, you know what I mean? And they don't have like fucking money to burn like that.
No, definitely not.
So, yeah, so it was cool, you know, they got to, you know, say hi to the guys in the band and, you know, get their pictures and signatures and whatever they wanted. But yeah, it was a bummer, man. Yeah, it was a bummer.
That was the one show that went like.
Well, no, because other stuff has been shut down, and honestly, the reason why the law enforcement was so strict on it was earlier in the year. I think it was earlier this year. That band, the 1984 or the 1985, 1984. It's like some indie band.
A big band?
Yeah, huge.
1975?
1975.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so you know.
I just know the band name. I
Okay.
literally probably know no songs by them, but I know the band name because they're huge.
They so they had played some giant festival in Malaysia, and they had told them prior to playing, like, hey, because it's like a openly gay members of the band.
Okay, gotcha.
And they
Oh,
were
is that like not okay over there?
Well, so it's their religious beliefs and culture is the LGBTQ community is still fighting really
a little
hard
oppressed
to get like the rights they deserve and everything.
Yeah, of course.
So they were like, yo, just don't do anything crazy.
Okay.
Like, don't say anything crazy, don't do anything crazy, because we're just trying to make this fest show whatever happen. Just you're coming to a country with different
beliefs,
social etiquettes.
It's social etiquettes, yeah.
You know what I mean? So be respectful of that. And they decided that they were going to pull a stunt and make out on stage.
Oh, dang.
And it got the whole festival shut down.
That's crazy.
And it fucked over everything because they decided that they wanted to pull some stunt. And it fucked it up for everybody.
Dang.
So now, whenever there are American bands coming through that part of the world, you need to pay like fucking crazy amount of money for visas and for like all this shit that really is just ludicrous.
Horse shit.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But since that event, apparently they started cracking down on like any American band that's coming through.
Wow, that's
or like
crazy.
Any foreign, but yeah, I don't know to the extent. Please, nobody quote me on this. I'm doing my best to like retell the story the way that I understand it. But yeah, they were like the kids were all saying like they were like, oh yeah, it's the 1975 effect, and we were like, what does that mean?
Oh.
And they told us, they were like, well yeah, after that fucking band played and they did all this shit, it's like now the government's like
freaking out,
all freaked out about bands from out of the country playing over here. So yeah, it's just one of those things where if the promoters are able to do it and get away with it, then the show works. And
if not,
it's same thing with shows getting shut down over here. It's
that's
like
crazy.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
The fuck are you gonna do?
Yep.
It's 2 hours before doors. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you can't move the spot at that point. Normally, sometimes.
Yeah, and you can, but you need a surplus of spots. And if you were doing it somewhere that got shut down, you would think that was like their best option.
Yep, exactly.
To avoid that,
Yep.
And they said something about like neighbors complaining, or it's always
it was all fucked.
It's always something.
Bummer.
It's always something. Yeah.
Well, at least the rest of the world was pretty dope.
Oh yeah, it was rad.
All right, I think the last thing I want to touch on, I guess. Thank you again for fucking sitting down and chatting, dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming over.
I always really like doing these. But so you are part of Condition 1, and that's your only musical thing right now, yeah?
Yeah.
That's like very active. So, Justin obviously did all the vocals and stuff for the old stuff. Is the new stuff kind of gonna be like, in terms of lyrical stuff, is it going to be kind of the same stuff, or do you guys have any like plans to, because you guys just play Wild West Fest, so are you guys going to like try to do like any runs or anything like that, or
yes, yeah, I don't know when you're going to be releasing this, so I'm not sure how much I can say, but we do have we have a couple things planned for next year, early next year.
I'll probably release it like today or tomorrow, so don't.
Okay.
I'm quick, so probably don't divulge anything that you don't want to.
Well, it's just stuff that hasn't been announced yet, so I don't want to like say it. But yeah, we got some small stuff. Half the band's in Tsunami, so
Yeah.
so it planning around that is one thing.
And Justin's busy as fuck.
And Justin's busy as fuck. I mean, the dude's a fucking paramedic.
Yeah, saving lives out here.
I'm busy as fuck.
That's true.
Everybody's got their lives, we still have to record music. We've got a couple of songs that are done being written that we play live.
And they're sick.
Yeah, Justin's finished a few songs. I just need to write lyrics for him. In terms of lyrical content,
Is it gonna be about just like killing people and shit?
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
That shit's badass.
Me and Justin have had a few conversations about this where we're like, yo, you get like really mad, huh? Like you just like really you want to do like fucked up shit, and it's like yeah, and it's like yeah. So
that's me, man.
So a lot of the the demo lyrics are cool, because I was doing vocals for Shadow Man.
Yes.
And I was like their third or fourth vocalist.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm singing somebody else's lyrics, and I'm like, what were
they
going through?
A little weird, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, okay, but I was like,
It's like personal.
I was like, I wouldn't really. I was like, what is this song about? You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
With Justin's lyrics that he originally wrote for Condition 1, it's just fucking being mad.
Yeah, of
pretty
course.
much.
Yep.
Wanting to fuck people up, hurt people real bad because you're just fucking
pissed,
just that angry.
Yeah.
I can't say that my lyrics are super different. There might be some inspiration about maybe some people that I want to hurt really bad.
Always makes for good lyrical content.
Yeah, and there might be some innuendos dropped in there that maybe my friends might be like, oh, he's talking about that guy.
Oh, sick.
You know what I mean? But no, aside from that, it's like fuck.
Just badass shit.
Typical shit, like having a hard time working out shit in your head, and that's a frustrating feeling. So, anger coming from that, anger coming from people that I don't like, situations that I don't like, stuff like that. I couldn't say that I'm really breaking any boundaries with the lyrics that I'm writing. But Condition 1 isn't really that much of a, at least like right now, like it's kind of just a band that's just fun for our homies to fucking play, like do local shit.
Yep.
And it's just cool. So I'm not trying to like search the fucking catacombs of my mind for some
shit.
inner shit that I got to get off my chest. Nobody fucking wants to hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's not really stuff that I want to talk about anyways.
Of course.
So pretty surface level shit you could mosh to, and yeah.
Kick ass.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Hell yeah, man. Well, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Fucking, chatting for I think it was about an hour.
Clean.
Yep.
Solid.
Yeah, exactly.
We covered forklifts, trucks,
tattoos,
booking shows,
yep.
Condition 1, hammers,
fucking Europe and Asia.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah, that's a good time, man. All right,
yeah.
well, thank you so much. Thanks for everyone who maybe watched to the end. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But until the next one, just like peace out, I guess. Boom.
Goodbye.